Should you optimize for cash flow or equity? I'm at Barge, boutique hotel investor and operator, and I'm going to be walking you through this really crucial topic to understand in terms of your real estate investment strategy and kind of what you're doing with your real estate investing, regardless of the asset class and kind of where you are in your journey. So I want to start really practically, which is saying what everyone wants is financial freedom. It's like everyone wants financial freedom, time freedom. And in order to do that, there are several milestones that you'll go through. And the first milestone is optimizing for $100,000 income, active income. That's at your job. So the first thing you should do if you want financial freedom is to optimize for 100K. And that's really around finding a skill, or it could be like a few skills that you're naturally good at and that you then use to garner that $100,000 job, that $100,000 income. And then once you've done that, you've kind of gotten the best of it, in the sense that, you're making some money. You're making, 8.5 per month, about 8.3, and you've kind of like gotten the best of that income curve. If you did more on income, it would cost you more time, and you might become a manager, and when you become a manager, you'll spend even more time and more hours. They'll ask you to do more things. You kind of not topped out, but you've kind of gotten the best of it on income. Then your mission is to optimize cash flow in the sense of replacing your job income. This is where a lot of people start in terms of real estate investment, in the sense that they're looking to replace their job. They're looking to replace their income with passive income. So, they do maybe single family home investing, which has very low cash flow though. They might get involved in multifamily investing. They might do that by, getting involved in a syndication, or maybe they, go out and find a multifamily for themselves, or they could do boutique hotel investing, which is what I do, which has the strongest cash flow of all the asset classes, and that's why I invest in boutique hotels. But you'll choose one of those asset classes and do your strategy, and you'll be optimizing for cash flow in the sense that, every day you're waking up, like, how can I hit that $10,000 a month cash flow target? How can I replace my job income? And so you're thinking about, this property, it can cash flow, $1,500 per month, or this other property can cash flow $3,000 per month. And you're really, you go out and do a deal, and you go through that whole experience, and, you learned a bunch, and you had some success. And then, that second deal usually comes pretty fast after that, which is once you've learned and you've gone through it, you're like, wow, this is great. I can do this. And so you maybe go for a little bit more scale. And, before you know, a lot of people do. A lot of people get that replacement income to where they have completely matched their employment income. And that's a big milestone. It's like, kudos to you if you're watching, if you've done that, because that really is something special. But you need to change gears. You need to switch gears and change strategy at that point. Let me tell you why. So you no longer want to optimize for cash flow at that point. Why? So I'm going to take the counter argument first. Let's say you keep optimizing for cash flow. You're always thinking about, okay, how much can this property cash flow? How much can that property cash flow? So you're looking at deals, and you're looking at, okay, this one, cash flow is $3,000 a month. It's this multifamily property that, we can do, or this other, this boutique hotel, small boutique hotel, this cash flows, $8,000 a month in cash flow. And the reason why you shouldn't be thinking that way is that, so let's say you do all that, right? You go do that. Let's say you go do that $3,000 a month cash flow deal. You go through all of it, execute all of it, and then you're managing it. Well, a year's worth of that $3,000 a month cash flows. So you've gone from 10 cash flow to 13. That extra 3 is only $36,000 per year. That's it. So like, yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at, but it's like, can you really do a whole lot with that 36,000? No, everyone knows you can't. You can stretch it, you can try, but you really can't do a whole lot of impactful stuff with that 36,000. And again, that takes all year. So like you had to go through that whole deal to execute it, and then you've been managing this whole time, and everyone knows like things pop up, you know, like the refrigerator needs to get fixed, or you know, you need to collect that income, or you know, you need to do the bookkeeping and accounting. Like it's still no small feat. And so that way, still optimizing for cash flow is very linear. It's very linear, and it just doesn't really kind of result in the kind of meaningful progress that people want, especially at that point, which is like you've done a couple deals, you know how to do deals, and you're like, wow, like I'm not that much farther along, even though I'm working, and it gets successively more difficult, which is like you're still having to manage deals 1 and 2 and 3, and like you're only getting an extra 30,000 on top over the course of an entire year. And so I hope that really emphasized to you like why you shouldn't be optimizing for cash flow. Let's take the other side of the argument, which is optimizing for equity. So you've already got that 10 in hand, that's coming in per month, every month. Fantastic. So you can focus on real estate. You really should be focusing on equity. And what that means in terms of like conceptually is like you're working on the base. So like ever since the beginning, you built your base up, which is like you acquired some assets. You acquired asset value, which is like you bought $500,000 worth of real estate, or you bought $1 million worth of real estate. And your cash flow is a percentage of cash flow of that asset value. So like you're bringing in 5% on your cash flow on your asset value. You're bringing in 10%. If you're doing boutique hotels, and you know, if you do our program, Hosted Hotels, we teach you how to do boutique hotels. You should be getting 10% on your asset value for sure. Like that's what you should be getting. You're not going to get it in other asset classes, but you can get it in boutique hotels. If you optimize for equity, you're then building out that base on which your cash flow is built, and you're not focusing on that top layer, which is just like what the property yields on a monthly basis in terms of its P&L. And the reason that's really powerful is that like what I really mean is you should be doing flips. You should be doing flips because that is what's going to really build up your equity so that you can have a much larger asset value base to then yield the kind of meaningful cash flow that lets you do projects with it. So this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing myself. So right now I'm buying a hotel. It's 20 units for $275,000, and it's already appraised for $850 ARV, $850,000. So it has some renovation. It's 136 renovations, so total cost is $411. And so out the door, like let's just say, for example, for Gil's, let's say it's going to yield $400,000. We'll probably beat the appraised value, maybe significantly. So let's just say it yields $400,000, meaning what I bought it for, and I'm going to flip it, which is like I'm going to buy it, I'm going to repair it, I'm going to have it bring in money, and I'm going to put it back on the market as soon as that happens, and I'll sell it whenever I get a good offer, and that's going to yield $400,000 in equity. And I'm then going to take that $400,000, and even with that, I'm going to roll it into a bigger equity project, which is like I'll look for a project that can yield me $1 million in equity. Whether that's, and this again, it's really through forced appreciation, which is like taking something that is undervalued, underpriced, and making it shiny and new. And really, it's nothing more than like a new coat of paint and some new flooring and some new design, and you know, setting up proper operations, collecting the income. Like it's really nothing more than that. So you know, I'll shoot for that $1 million in the second project, and then after that, I'll shoot for really like a $3 million equity growth, which maybe in 2 or even 3 projects. But the point is, once I get to that $3 million equity value stage, is that at a 10% cash flow yield on that $3 million rather, that's $300,000 per year. So like what that means is every 120 days, I'm gonna have another $100,000 in my pocket to do whatever I want with. And the point of that is that that's enough cash flow to actually do more real estate projects. So like that money keeps funneling in, and it's meaningful enough to go out and do stuff with, as opposed to if you took a more incremental approach, which is like another 3,000 here, another 5,000 there, like it just doesn't result in the kind of progress that you're really looking for. And this is actually where some people get burnt out, and you know they are still having to manage properties 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and like they're still in this like linear cash flow. They're like trying to invest the proceeds into the next project. They're constantly like, and this is actually like where you can get into a little bit of trouble, as you can imagine, which is like they start to get spread more and more thin on liquidity because they're only dealing in the top layer. They're only like optimizing that top layer, that cash flow layer, and they never really build up kind of enough reserves or enough capital on hand to like appropriately do the next project. Whereas like with this equity strategy, it's like that cash is in hand. You do a flip and like that money's in the bank, like it's there. And you can then decide, you know, how and, you know, when and how you want to do your next project based on the equity that you have. And so I just really wanted to like stress and impress upon you, like you're always dealing within these mathematics. You're like either, and every project has like, you know, you're optimizing, every project has aspects of both, right? It's not that one project, oh, this is a, you know, this project has no cash flow and all equity, or has, you know, all equity and no cash flow. No, like, but it really, you really want to have this mindset. This can save you, if you think about this in terms of like what it means, it can save you like years off of your life. Like, and this is why it's so important to do financial design. And it's something that we really cover in our 𝗵_cie h'𝗁 program, which is helping you understand, like there's so many dynamics at play. There are so many dynamics at play. And understanding what you want and understanding what type of opportunity to go after, and then on top of that, what type of deal to go after, and where it is and what it looks like, and the mechanics of what's going to happen when you actually do that. Like understanding all those things beforehand so that when you're evaluating deals, you're really savvy and you're really plugged in terms of knowing what you want out of your deal. That is where the true power is. So you want to tap into that power, and you tap into that power by really knowing, like being truthful and understanding the truth of what's going on, which is you have cash flow and you have equity, and they work together, they work in tandem. But understanding what each is and knowing where you are in your journey and what you're going for, that is true power. That is really influential, and that's going to help you incredibly in terms of your velocity and your growth, right? Which is like, if you only keep optimizing for cash flow, you have this kind of low velocity. Like you're making money and you're doing it. Some people might look at you and be like, wow, like you've done this project and that project, and you know, that's really something. And that's true. It's still nothing to look down on, but it's like, you know, you may not be getting to where you really want to go. And where you really want to go is you know, having an asset value, having an asset base that really yields the kind of material cash flow to go out and do more projects. So then you can self-fund your own like there's so much you can do, but the point is you just want to get out of this incremental kind of mindset to focus on taking bigger steps and building more equity to be able to throw more weight around and really like boom your cash flow. Like once you turn the page and then you do optimize for cash flow. I'll give you another example. So like the people who only they successfully kept optimizing for cash flow, they end up with like 25 4-unit properties. And they have a property here and a property there and this other property over there. And it's a mess. Like this actually keeps things very organized and clean and tidy. And if you think also in terms of like all the books that are required for that and the operations and the management and all the communication for that and all the things that are required to make all of that happen and keep all of that going, like no, with the equity strategy, like once you decide and you're like, all right, now I have enough equity to now I'm gonna optimize for cash flow, like you'll plug that $3 million in to, you know, a $6 million boutique hotel or an $8 million multifamily property, and that thing's gonna cash flow like material dollars. And you're gonna be able to, you'll just manage that one property and like it's gonna keep spitting out significant amounts of money. And you're going to be like, this is great. Everything's centralized. It's at one property. I can keep control of it. It's pretty straightforward. I have a good crew. I have a good management. I've got the, you know, handymen to, you know, keep this under control. And it's really going to be a great situation for you. So hope this was helpful. Again, my name's Matt Barge. I'm a boutique hotel investor and operator. My program that teaches you how to do boutique hotels like I do is 𝗺cie HIH''. So that's 𝗺cie_hotels.com, where I teach you on how to do boutique hotels. That's, you know, where to find great deals, how to underwrite them, which actually you make your money before you buy. You make your money when you buy, and then, you know, it's just upon you to fulfill the deal. Also, how to finance them, how to renovate them, how to operate them. As a case study, you know, I'm buying this hotel, as I said, for $275, it prays for $850. It's going to cash flow $6,000 a month, but it's really going to be just a big flip for me to, you know, build my equity, as I said, and shorten the time frame that I will get to my next phase when I turn the corner on optimizing for cash flow and have one big property that yields lots of cash flow, very organized, nice and tidy and simple, and I wish for you to do the same. So hope this was helpful. And again, my course is 𝗺cie HIH'', 𝗺cie_hotels.com. Matt Barge, thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon.